the important ones, I think, eye and ears. Usually questions come from eyes and ears. About nose and tongue and skin, very few questions, very few. Like, let's go back a little bit. This is maybe a better place to start. So maybe we can quickly look at them. You'll be maybe refreshing your memories, right? The basic idea is like we have a sense organ, let's say this one here. In the sense organ with sense organs have receptors. Okay, receptors. These receptors collect different type of information and then make it electrical impulse, electrical signal. So that electrical impulse goes to the CNS, central nervous system, through sensory neuron. And then there is processing, integration, processing here. And then decisions are made. Sometimes, like in reflex actions, you see something or you touch something, you feel the temperature maybe, and then you just move your hand back. So orders go to effectors, like muscles, like glands. So sense organs here, they are like special places with receptors inside. And we have 5 sense organs. Eyes are detecting only light. They have receptors for light, photoreceptors. And the other one, ears have mechanoreceptors, ears and skin, these two. They have mechano, like detecting pressure mostly, mechanoreceptors. The ears are detecting sound for hearing and also balance for like body coordination. When you look at the skin, there are different types of stimulus like touch, pressure, and again another pressure. Like this pressure is like how much you are pressing, kind of. Okay, when we touch something, we understand if it is hard or soft. It's because of this pressure sensation, and also temperature. We can understand if something is hot or cold. And for these two, we have chemoreceptors. So they detect chemicals, okay, for smelling and for tasting. Not important, so we skip this. For the eye, we need to know this diagram. Okay, I remember like we studied this together, or was it another class? No, okay, fine. And then here, this is like side view of the eye. So we look at from the side. And then there are basically 3 layers. Outside is sclera, the white part. Then the middle is choroid, usually like blackish, dark color. And then inside is, the inner layer is here, retina. Where is it? Here, retina. This is like pinkish, pink. Okay, these 3. And there are some modifications in the front. If you follow, the sclera is coming to the front. So when you look at somebody's eye, you see the sclera. This white part is sclera. Okay, and in the very front, for light to enter, it should be transparent. So in the front, sclera becomes cornea. Okay. Cornea is transparent. So you can see it like if you look at somebody's eye from the side, you can see that something like glass in the front, that's cornea. That's continuation of sclera. There is one UTBK question, I think, from like 5 years ago, maybe. It's asking that sclera becomes what in the front? Then choroid comes, and then choroid in the front becomes iris, the colorful part again. Choroid in the front, it becomes the iris. So it is under the sclera. Here sclera is transparent, so we can see inside, and the inside is iris, this one. Depending on the pigment, some people have brown eyes, some people have black, blue, green. It's here, the iris. And what else? The middle layer, retina. Retina comes until here, and then it stops. So retina is at the back. And in the front, okay, we'll look at that. What do they do? Sclera is for protection, support. I mean, support is better, not protection. Support, given the shape, tough, it's tough. And then choroid is like with blood vessels. So it's like bringing the oxygen, bringing the food, nourish. And then retina is the one with receptors, okay, for seeing them. Okay. And in the retina, there are two types of receptors, photoreceptors, cone and rods. We are going to see they are positioned here usually. They are here. So this part is light sensitive part. See that? Let's look at the front again here. So we have the cornea, we have the iris. In between the iris here, there is the pupil opening. If when you look at somebody's eye or your eye in the mirror, this black, it's always black, the pupil, this one, it's always black. It's like the opening. It's black because inside is dark. So you're like looking at somebody's eye actually when you look at the pupil. Then what else? Just behind the pupil, there is the lens. Lens is for focusing. Focusing what? Focusing light on retina. So light, like if the light is coming, it should just focus on the, from an image, let's say, it's coming, it should focus here. Focus should be, if it is behind, it's problem. If it is front, it's problem. It should be just on the retina. So lens is responsible for that. What else do we have? We have suspensory ligaments, like holding cables, and we have a muscle here, ciliary muscle. It's a circular muscle, like this, circle around the lens. Okay, we look at them and we'll see what they do. Let me clear it a little bit. What else do we have? We have fluids. Okay, humor is fluid. Which humor? Here, this one, fluid. Aqueous like water, watery. Vitreous like glass. Okay, so this is like jelly, kind of, a little bit. And this is more like water. So here there is liquid. Here there is liquid. If the liquid is a lot, then your eyes are coming out a little bit. If the liquid is little, your eyes are like going inside a little bit. Both of them are problems. We should have the right amount of liquid to see properly. Then there is the optic nerve carrying information to the occipital lobe of the brain. What else do we have? It's like this, yeah. We'll see the others again. This is from the top view. So light is coming this way, passing through the aqueous humor, pupil, lens, and then focusing on maybe somewhere on retina. Okay, these are the things I'm just trying to explain. Now we have in the retina, we have two types of photoreceptors, rods and cones. You can see why they are called like that. This is the rod, looks like rod, stick, and this one is the cone shaped. Okay, light comes from this side, light comes, and then they process the light, and then they produce electricity, different voltages, kind of. We don't need to know that part. It's very detailed, no need. What we need to know is this. Let's go back here. Let's compare them. Cone, rod. Okay. Let's see. Cone cells are responsible for color vision. If you see color like red, blue, green, those colors, then it means you are using your cones. Cones are active. So color vision. And rods are for black and white. Okay, if you don't see any colors like all TVs maybe, that means you are using your rods. Cones are not active. Another difference, cones only respond to bright light. So they need high light intensity. Okay, these need high light intensity to work. But if there is very low light intensity, like in the evening when you are walking outside, that is rods, low light or dim light. Okay, that's why like when you go out in the evening, you can see someone coming towards you, but you don't see the color of the t-shirt, let's say. You just see it like dark. The reason is your cones are not active. There is not enough light. But if you have a torch, if you turn the torch on, there is light, then you can see the color. And the third one is position, location. Cones are densely packed in the part of retina called yellow spot. So cones are almost all of them inside yellow spot. And rods are usually outside yellow spot. Okay, three differences. Let's see them in the diagram. I mean the yellow spot. Let's clear this again. Here, usually it's shown like a cave like this. So this is the yellow spot. Another name is fovea. For best vision, now let's say if you are seeing colors, like I see the red color, green color on the screen, it means the light from red and green, they are coming to my yellow spot, exactly there. And there is another spot, see blind spot, this is also important. Blind spot does not give any signals to brain. In the blind spot, no receptors. There are no receptors. So if image of something falls here, it's not seen, it's not detected. Like in the cars, maybe you have heard there is a blind spot. Let's say you are driving the car and then a motorcycle is coming. If it is in your blind spot, you don't see it, right? Just like that. Both of our eyes have a blind spot, but they cover each other. Since they have different blind spots, we can see the whole picture. But if you look with one eye, you are missing some things that you don't know. There is a test for that. Maybe you can do later if you want. Blind spot test. Is it? Yeah, this one. Something like this you can try. Interesting. When I first did it, it was like really strange. I couldn't believe. This one, yeah. So it's like kind of like positioning is like this. This is the yellow spot. So cones are inside and the rods are outside, black and white. Okay, the cornea in the front is also doing a little bit focusing, bends light rays, but this is like little bit. Maybe like 10%. Remaining 90% is done by lens. It's good if you can know the simple functions like this. Okay. Now, how do we see? for us to see, the light should travel like this: cornea, aqueous humor, pupil, lens, vitreous humor, and then it should finally go to retina. Then we can see. Okay. And when we are looking at something, we see it like upside down, right, left, so like inverted and smaller. The image does not go to brain, electricity goes to brain, and then our brain makes the image again. Like very complicated thing. Now there is something called accommodation. We need to know the mechanism. Like let's say I hold this paper near my eyes, very near. Like if I look far, something far, and then just turn to the paper, for a very short time, the letters are not clear and then they become clear. Most likely you have experienced that. This is because our lenses are kind of changing, like in a mobile phone also, like the camera is focusing, right? So you want to take a picture of something, first it's not clear and then it's like doing something and then becoming clear. Our eyes do that. Our lens changes shape. Okay, if we are looking at far objects, for far objects, the lens is thin. Our lens is like this, thin. If you are looking at near objects, like reading something at this distance, let's say, our lens has to be thick. Okay, it's changing this shape all the time. If you want to train your eye, let's say, you can do this. You can look near, you can look far, near, far. It's like torturing your eyes, kind of. How does it change shape? First, the lens is elastic, and then it cannot change shape by itself. It needs to be pulled. Something is pulling it. When it is in this shape, these suspensory ligaments are pulling, they are tense. Okay, it's like you are pulling something, so it's stretching. If you leave it, it's becoming shorter. So this one is relaxed, nothing is pulling it, like it's relaxed. The things I'm drawing, these are called suspensory ligaments. Okay? Like here. Accommodation is changing the shape of the lens when focusing far and near objects. This is done by the action of ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments. Now, where is the muscle? Muscle is here. Muscle is around this, kind of. It's difficult to imagine. You need 3D for this. So there is a circular muscle. If the muscle becomes larger, it's pulling the lens from every direction, actually. So the lens is becoming, think about the lens like a ball, okay, like a ball. And imagine you are pulling the ball from like a circle, and then the ball becomes flat, kind of. When you leave it, it becomes like a ball again, like a sphere again. So here we are pulling, here relaxed, not pulling. If we are pulling, the muscle is relaxed. If the ligaments are relaxed, muscle is contracting. This part is a little bit confusing. You can memorize or try to understand. I tried very hard, and then finally, after a long time, I understood. Imagine there is let's say this is the muscle. My fingers are the muscles. For circular muscles to be big, they should relax, right? When they contract, they become smaller, circular muscles. So here, when we are looking at near object, our muscle is contracting. When do you get more tired? When you are reading a book for a long time, or when you are just looking in the sky, outside, far things? Your eyes get tired if you are looking at near objects, right? Like maybe you are playing with your mobile phone, near object all the time. If it is near object, your muscle is contracting and then gets tired after some time. So it's good to, like, if you are reading or studying, it's good to read, and then just look somewhere else and then continue reading again. That makes your muscles relax a little bit. So here muscle is relaxed, small, and the ligament is not pulling. Here muscle is relaxed, so big, circle is big, and every ligament is pulling, stretched. Okay, I hope it's you'll get that. Usually they don't ask much detail, but you may need to remember what is the muscle doing, what is the ligament doing, how is the lens. If you have a starting point, like my starting point is, if it is far object, lens is thin. How do I remember? At the beginning, I was thinking like one person is running long distance, far, and after running, that person becomes thin. So the lens is thin. And the other person runs just near a little bit, 1 kilometer maybe, then this person is not thin, like a little bit large. Then you continue, if you get the logic. Here, so this one is for far object, and this one is for near object. If it is far object, light rays are coming parallel, and we don't have to bend a lot. Thin lens is enough. But if the object is near, then light rays are going away from each other. You have to bring them back. Then for this, you need a strong lens. Strong lens is thick lens. So that's why it's changing. This is for a healthy eye. Some people don't have healthy eyes. For normal vision, the lens is bending well, and always the focus is on retina. This is fine. Sometimes, oh, this is still fine. This is still, okay, sorry, this is still accommodation. This is for close vision. This is for distant, far vision. Okay, it's in a written form. You can read these. Still the same thing. They say this is the real image. Our lens, ligaments, so many, and then the muscle here. Okay, another thing about the eye is pupil reflex. This is for light intensity. Accommodation is for distance, for zooming. This is for light intensity. What do we mean? Like, this is like when you go from somewhere bright into a dark place, your pupil becomes bigger. It's about that. Here, the active one is iris. Effector is iris. The iris contains two sets of muscles, circular muscles and radial muscles. There is a diagram, I think. Here, you see the circular muscle, not like a perfect circle. There's a muscle like this. This is circle, okay? And there are also radial muscles. They are more clear. There are other circular muscles we don't see clearly. So some muscles are like this, circle. Some other muscles are straight, radial, like radiating. Okay, these two together, they change the size of the pupil. They can make the pupil bigger, so more light enters, or they can make the pupil smaller, so less light enters. If outside is bright with a lot of light, then we just close the pupil. If outside is dark, we open the pupil, we make it big. Okay, pupil itself is nothing, just an opening. The active one is iris, again, this part. Change it to red. So it is the iris. Iris is here, from this one to outside, this iris. And since it is automatic, it's called pupil reflex. In cats, maybe you can see that, but in cats, it's different. Like their emotions are also important. For us also, if we have a lot of adrenaline, our pupil becomes bigger when we are scared. Right? Here, circular muscles dilate, become larger, so the pupil becomes bigger. But this is like too much. Doesn't look real. Okay, this one is fine. Small pupil, meaning circular muscles are contracting. Again, you may need to know which muscle is contracting, which muscle is relaxing. Here I wrote them. In dim light, if it is dark, the circular muscles relax and the radial muscles contract. This dilates, makes the pupil bigger, so more light enters. In the other case, if you are going from dark place to light place, opposite happens. Okay, circular. Here the thing is, if you understand this, this is a circular muscle, let's say. This is relaxed. And if it is, sorry, this is contracting. And if it is relaxed, it's bigger, like this. Okay. Pupil reflex, why do we have something like that? What would happen if you don't have it? Pupil reflex makes sure that the retina is not damaged by too much light. And it always gets enough light. It gets enough light, but not too much light. Sometimes, when you get shocked, when you are very scared, everywhere becomes white. Have you seen that? Maybe, I hope you haven't seen. So it was happening to me when I'm scared of the teachers. Like everything becomes white because your pupils are too big and then too much light enters and then everywhere is white. All your photoreceptors are active. I was like, in SMP, I think there was a teacher. We were reading one sentence. Everybody reads one sentence in order. If you can read it, it's good. If you cannot read it, there is punishment. So I was so scared. When it comes to me, I look at the book, I cannot see anything. Everything is white, like kind of like I want to read, but nothing is there. So it's because of this pupil. Not a very good diagram, but this shows the pupil reflex, like about the nervous system. For this one, okay, for every reflex, we need a receptor. Receptor is here, light sensitive cells of retina, photoreceptors. And then there is the sensory neuron. And then there is the interneuron, relay neuron in the brain. And then there is the motor neuron. And effector is muscles of the iris. Okay, so there is the receptor, there is the effector. Okay, so this is like important. I think this reflex, pupil reflex is important. Then there are eye defects, eye problems. These are also important. You need to know the myopia and hyperopia. Yeah, these two. Like the problem, we need to know what is the problem. If it is myopia, problem is the person cannot see far. Okay, if you are just reading, it's okay, no problem. But if you look far, you don't see. And it's also called nearsightedness. The thing is, the lens cannot become thin. Lens cannot become thinner. Maybe it has lost elasticity, or maybe the eye is long sometimes. Eye is longer than normal. So what happens? The focus is before the retina. Should be here, but it is before. So what we do? We put a special lens which separates light rays. Divergent lens. Divergent lens. This is which one? If it is this one, convex, this brings light together. If it is this one, concave, this separates light, right? Okay, you know optics, I think. For me, it has been a long time. So we need this one. So for myopia, concave lens is used. So there'll be questions like this. Which of the following is true for myopia? Okay, like I'm just making up. The person cannot see far clearly. To fix the problem, concave lens should be used. the focus is before retina. Lens is thicker than normal. So options like that. Okay. The other one, let's see the other one. Hyperopia, just opposite. Far-sightedness. So you can see far, but when you want to read, you cannot see clearly. The problem is lens can't be thick enough. Okay, your lens is becoming thin, there is no problem there, but when it needs to be thick, it cannot do that. So like it needs to, let's say light is coming like this, it needs to bring them together, but it's not powerful enough. So the focus is behind the retina. To fix this, we need a lens which brings light together. So we need this one. Light comes like this, and then it brings them together. Convex, right? Convex lens. This says plus. Plus is convex. Minus is concave. Hyperopia corrected with a converging convex lens. Converging, diverging, the opposite one. There is this one, presbyopia or presbytism. This happens in old people. As they get older, they can see far properly, but they cannot see near. So they need reading glasses then. Right? They need reading. When they want to read something, they have to carry a glass and then put it on. So to see near objects. So this is similar to hyperopia, same like hyperopia. But the thing is, it just happens because of old age. The lens loses elasticity as we get older. That's normal because of old age. Just know the name, presbyopia or presbytism. There is astigmatism, another problem. Here, the focus is like irregular, not behind, not front. Like there are more than one focuses, one here, one on the retina maybe. The problem is not in the lens. Lens is okay. Problem is in cornea. Cornea has bumps, kind of. Okay, because of this, there are many focuses. And to fix this one, doctors give cylindrical lens. This is more difficult to correct. And the most expensive lenses are for astigmatism. Okay. There is also a genetic problem with the eyes. Okay. The ones we have seen so far, they are like anatomical, but this one is genetic. Some people don't have some of the cones. There are 3 types of cones, one for red, one for green, one for blue, not like the main colors. There is green here, not like red, blue, and yellow. A healthy person, a normal person, has all of them. But some colorblind people don't have some of these. Can be just blue missing, can be like all of them missing. There are different types. If all of them missing, you see black and white only. Okay, do you see 12 here? Okay, that's good. Do you see what? 14 here?
6.
No, then you are not 6. There is 6. Okay, fine. Okay, so like there is this test. If you don't see the numbers, then maybe there is a problem. But there is no treatment. I mean, nothing. There is nothing you can do if you have it. Just accept it, love it, and then continue. There is this summary. The problem. What causes the problem? How can it be corrected? Another one, night blindness. Okay, during the day, you are fine. But when it gets dark, you don't see anything. The reason is your rod cells are not working. Okay, your rod cells are not working. The reason can be nutritional. not having enough vitamin A. If you eat the food, you'll be fine. Okay, how is this speed? Let's continue. Okay. Let's look at ears in detail. Others, you don't need much detail. Ears for hearing and balance, two things. I'll go like faster. Two functions. This is sometimes asked and some students don't know this. Okay. There are three sections: outer ear, middle ear, inner ear. Outer ear is until the eardrum. Here, eardrum. This one. Middle ear from the eardrum to the windows. There are windows here, two windows. This is just air. There is air inside, not liquid. Yeah, air in English. This is also air, but when you go inside, here there is fluid inside. Okay. External, there is not much, just to collect sound waves and then move them inside. And then it's like knocking a door, sound waves hit here, and then the eardrum starts vibrating. Okay, so it starts vibrating, and then vibration goes into middle ear. In the middle ear, we have three tiniest bones: malleus, incus, and stapes. Mis, M-I-S. Okay, mis. So eardrum is moving, vibrating. These bones also vibrate, and these are special. They amplify. They do amplification. They make the vibrations stronger. So it's like somebody's knocking a little bit. Because of this amplification, that sound becomes bigger, like 10 times. So if somebody has a problem in the bones here, most likely the person cannot hear well. He loses like 90% of the volume, kind of. Okay, then what happens after that? The final bone here, stapes, knocks this window. Like it's like moving the window, oval window, because of the shape, oval, and the other one is round, oval, a little bit longer maybe. So now this is pushing the door, kind of, pushing the window, sorry. And there is liquid inside. Because of this movement, liquid starts vibrating. So in the ear, it's all about vibrations. Sound waves, moving the eardrum, moving the bones, and the bones move the liquid inside here. So liquid is vibrating, kind of. And those vibrations are detected by receptors, mechanoreceptors. Okay, before we go into the inner ear, there is a canal here, see? You don't see now. Here there is a canal from our middle ear to mouth cavity. There is a connection, right? Sometimes, like if there is a doctor, right? Mouth, nose, and ear. No, not mouth. Throat, nose, and ear, right? The ear is there because of this canal. So if there is an infection in the throat, it can easily go into your ears. That's why there is a branch of medicine like that. The canal is Eustachian canal or auditory tube. Eustachian, let's show you the name. Not there. Here, Eustachian canal connects the middle ear to the pharynx, balances the air pressure in the middle ear. So when there is a big noise, like big sound coming from this side, so if this is your tympanic membrane, sound is coming from this way, a lot of pressure, maybe explosion or something. And then if you open your mouth, the same pressure will also come from this side, and your eardrum will be safe. This happens a lot in the plane. When you have taken off, you feel pressure in your eardrum, but if you open your mouth, if you chew, if you swallow, if you do something like a yawn, then the canal is open and then pressure is balanced. Okay, the bones transfer and amplify vibrations. Now the middle inner ear. Okay, hearing and balance, they happen here. Receptors are here, contains the receptors for hearing and for balance. And it's always filled with fluid. There is no air inside. For the exams, the basic thing they ask, like they put, let's say, X here and then ask, what is the function of this? Or they put X here, they put Y here, they put Z here. Which of these are responsible for hearing? Maybe only X, the answer. Okay, here let's look at them one by one. This is cochlea. Because of the shape, it's called cochlea. Looks like snail. This means snail. This part is for hearing. Okay, like the body's microphone, for hearing only. The fluid is vibrating, the vibrations go inside, and then there is a very good mechanism. We don't need the details. Then we hear. And the other parts, there is this one called vestibule. And there are 3 half canals, semicircular canals. And these are for, both of them, for body balance. But what kind of balance? Okay, the blue is the fluid, by the way. And it's so small, like if your earlobe is like this, the middle, the inner ear is like so small. And there is this nerve, vestibulo-cochlear nerve. Vestibule here, cochlea here, going to the brain. Now here, let's see the functions. Cochlea for hearing. Okay, it has a special part called organ of Corti, and this one has the receptors called hair cells, but not the ciliated cells. These are microscopic hair. And the 3 canals detect the motion of the head. Like, what are you doing with your head? Are you doing this or this or this? This is all understood by semicircular canals. My things are fallen. Okay, so it's like for the movement of the head. Your head moves in which direction? And the vestibule does what? Detects the position of the head with respect to gravity. Like when you go to photographers, let's say sometimes photographer comes and keeps your head up, right? Corrects you. Maybe he tells you to keep your head up and then you are like this. You think you are keeping your head right. It means there is a problem in the vestibule. The photographer comes and then corrects you, right? So vestibule is like knowing where is your head in according to gravity. Okay, the details are not that important, I guess. For this one, for the canals, I just want to tell you a little bit more. Like when I do this, let's say when I do this, when you do this 3 times and then stop, there is something still going on there and then stops after like 1 second, 2 seconds. Like that, right? When you do this, you feel dizzy a little bit and then it stops. Right? Andika, right? Okay, the thing is, when we do this, there is fluid inside. The fluid is moving. When you stop your head, fluid is still moving. And then it stops. Until it stops completely, you feel dizzy. Okay, it also happens when you spin around. When you spin very fast and then stop, you feel dizzy because the fluids are still moving. Until they settle down, we feel dizzy. Okay, so you can check these. If you don't have it, I can share it. Just let me know. The details are not that much important. Like mechanism is good, interesting. I would like you to know, but for the exam, I don't know if you have time to study or not. Kind of like this. When you do this, there is something like jelly there. It goes down, so the cells know the position of your head. Then they send information. They send information to the part of the brain. So brain knows that your head is going down like this. You are doing depression, right? Depression, elevation from the muscles. Depression, elevation. Okay. This is the summary function of each part a little bit. This is the quiz. And the skin. For skin, general functions can be useful. Like it covers the whole body and then provides protection, physical, chemical, and even from microbes. It stops like 90% of microbes coming to the body. Even stops some UV light. Excretes waste through sweating. Sweating is like excretion. Sweating is also heat loss, right? When we do sweating, we do two things. We remove waste, we also remove heat. And then it has a sense function, like a sense organ for this chapter. It also produces vitamin D when it gets enough sunlight. So like very different functions. And it is the largest organ of the body. Covers the whole body. If you remove it and weigh it, it's the heaviest, largest organ. It has 3 layers, or some books say 2 layers. One of them is epidermis, and the other one is dermis. Sometimes these two together. Dermis is the skin, real skin. Epidermis is like top skin. Epi, top. They have different characteristics. Epidermis is the one doing protection. So protection is from here. Let's read these quickly. It's made of epithelial cells, many layer squamous, multi-layer squamous, flat cells. And these cells contain this protein, keratin. Keratin is in the skin, in the hair, in the nails. That protein gives strength. Okay, toughness protein. There is no blood vessel in this layer. Like we have learned that before. Epithelial tissue don't have blood vessels. And then there are some special cells there, melanocytes. They produce melanin, and melanin gives the darkness to the skin for skin color. But the function is to protect the body from UV, stops UV. Okay, like this, the top layer is dead. So this one is dead, but the bottom layers are alive. And here, this is the basal lamina. I mean, not here, at the bottom here, basal lamina. Here, these are stem cells. They always divide, stem cells. And others are just moving up. The dermis has the other functions. It contains many things. Like when you look at here, it's like really mixed up. So many things. Blood vessels are there, nerve cells are there, receptors are there, sweat glands, other glands, hair producing follicles, they're all there. Sweat glands filter the blood and make sweat for excretion and for temperature regulation. Another gland, sebaceous gland, secrete oil for the skin to keep the skin soft. We don't notice maybe, but our skin always produces that to keep it soft. If it stops, your skin becomes dry. It also kills some microbes. For every hair, we have one gland. For every hair. If you have more hair, you have more gland. Okay, and again, interested maybe, for every hair, we have a muscle, tiny muscle. Sometimes our hair just goes up, like cats do it more, right? Like when you touch electricity, maybe your hair goes up. It's because of these muscles. Muscles contract, hair goes up. Okay. And receptors, there are many different receptors there. It's in the book. I've seen only one UTBK question about this. If you can memorize, try to memorize. Like you need to know this. Which receptor is for what? Like, for example, Pacinian corpuscle is for heavy pressure, like deep touch, like you are really pressing. Ruffini is for heat. Krauss is for cold. Just memorization. But you can find a way like Ruffini, like oof, like when you touch something hot, you may do like oof, like that maybe. Then Ruffini. Krauss like sounds cold, kind of. I was memorizing like that. Okay. They have different shapes. Pacinian is like onion, kind of. So this is for you to study. So skin is like that. And the bottom, bottom layer is fat, adipose tissue for heat insulation. Animals living in cold places, they have thick hypodermis, thick fat layer. Okay, skin problems. For nose, there are chemoreceptors, right? Chemoreceptors. For smelling, not much. You may remember this name, olfaction, olfactory bulb. It's about smelling, about smell, olfactory, right? This is complicated. I think you will not need that. The tongue is similar. Again, chemoreceptor detecting chemicals, sometimes detecting the same chemical. So like when you are eating something, smell is important to get the taste, because the chemicals go to nose, go to tongue, and then combined, and then we get the taste from the food. If you are not smelling, the taste is not complete, because they are like working together, kind of. In the tongue, we have small bumps, tiny bumps. These are called papillae. In the papillae, there are chemoreceptors for taste are inside the taste buds of tongue papillae. So tongue papillae is the largest, the bumps. Inside these bumps, there are taste buds. Inside the taste buds, there are chemoreceptors. Okay, so like there is a hole here, let's say chemicals go inside and then we get the taste. There is this kind of old, they say it's not true anymore. Like receptors for sweet taste, they are here, salty taste here, sour and bitter at the back. They say it is not very correct. Every part of the tongue can feel every taste, they say. Okay, so this is the end for sense organs. We can look at hormones a little bit. Okay. For hormones, actually, there is a summary table. I mean, if you understand how they work, then there is a summary table. If you memorize what do hormones do, something like this, maybe it's here. Check. I remember doing one. Okay, this is not the one I made. This is from books. Okay, let me find an easy one for you, like this. Okay, what we need to know, there are like more than 10 hormones you need to know. Let's say insulin hormone. Okay, not this here, sorry. Okay, this is better. Let's say which hormone? Something we have seen before. ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, sorry. There is antidiuretic hormone. You have seen in excretion, I think. Like, it is produced from where? You need to know that. It says posterior lobe. This is pituitary hormone. So it is from pituitary gland. Pituitary posterior means behind. The source, one. And then the target. Where does it go? Where does it work? It works in the kidneys. This is two. And then third one is, what does it do? This hormone causes reabsorption of water. Reabsorption of more water. Okay? So if you remember these, usually that's enough. For some hormones, there is a disease, there is a problem. Like for this hormone, there is. If ADH is not enough, there is diabetes insipidus. Right? So you need to also know this one too. For every hormone, like 4 things: the source, the target, the action, and then the disease. Now let's go back to the general information about hormones. Let's see what is a hormone and what do they do. Okay, here. Okay, there are different ways of communication in the body between our cells. One of them is hormones here. Endocrine communication. One cell makes a hormone. Let's say this cell wants to say something to a cell here, let's say. They are far. One of them is in your pancreas and the other one is in your liver, let's say. So this is pancreas and here is liver. Okay, so it's like mailing. It's like sending a letter, kind of. The cells make the hormone and then put the hormone into blood. Hormone enters the blood and then blood vessels carry it to liver. So the hormone travels in the blood, goes to heart, goes to lungs, goes to everywhere in the body, and then to the liver. When the liver cells get the hormone, they do something. They respond. Comparison between nervous system and the hormonal system. This may be important. Like nervous system uses nerves, hormonal system uses glands. Glands produce hormones. And the information is electrical impulse, here hormone, chemical. Chemical, and this one is electrical. Okay, pathway, electrical impulses move along neurons. In the sensory neuron, in the motor neuron, but for the hormonal system, information or the hormones travel in the blood. They can go from one part of your body to another part through blood. Speed of information, if it is nervous system, very fast, like milliseconds. If it is hormonal system, speed of your blood. Right? If your blood moves fast, it's moving fast. And the duration of the effect, like when you send a nerve signal, for how long it continues, usually short, seconds. But if it is hormonal message, it can live very long. These are similar to, like, this is like WhatsApp message, let's say. Quick, you just type it and then it goes, right? But this one is like a letter. You take the paper, you write your letter or note, put it in an envelope, send it. Takes some time to go there. But when it goes there, which one is more, which one is longer lasting? If you get a WhatsApp message from your good friend, you just read it and it's finished. right? But if you get a letter from your friend, you can keep the letter, you can read it again and again, you can smell it, you can cry on it, maybe like longer lasting, yeah? Letters. So hormones are like that. Target for usually nervous system, it affects one area, affector organ, can be one muscle, can be one gland. But for hormonal system, it can be the whole organ, the whole liver, or the whole body sometimes, for growth hormone, let's say. Growth hormone affects the whole body. And the response, if it is nervous system, there are only two responses: muscle contraction or glands secreting something. Okay, there is no other one. But for hormonal systems, there are so many responses we are going to see. Like if it is insulin, your blood glucose level goes down. If it is growth hormone, you grow. If it is ADH, you reabsorb more water. So different things. Okay, there can be questions comparing these two, like which is true. Then there are some things about these. There is a long definition, but important. Every part is important. Let's read it together. First, hormone is a chemical messenger, like this. Do we have? I guess there was a no. So it's just a chemical, like glucose, like amino acids. Okay, some of them, I mean, many of them small chemicals. Every hormone is produced by an endocrine gland. Endocrine gland, like this. So this is the endocrine gland. There is a blood vessel, so hormone goes into blood. But if it is exocrine gland, like sweat gland, the cells produce the material, it's stored here, and then goes out through a duct, through a tube. There's a tube here. Okay, the third one, hormones are carried by blood. Okay, one of the functions of blood is to transport hormones. Another one, hormones change the activity of target organs. They go to target organs and they affect the target organs. Target organ does something else usually after that. And finally, when they do their job, they are destroyed in the liver. Okay, how do we know which organ is the target organ? Let's say insulin, or okay, let's say ADH. The target organ is kidney, but the hormone goes everywhere. Hormone goes to stomach, hormone goes to lungs, liver, everywhere. Why the target organ is kidney only? It's because of this. Like here we can see that there should be receptors. Okay, every hormone has a different shape. If the cell has the receptors, then the cell is the target organ. Like let's say here, the hormone is like cube shape. So here there are receptors suitable for that. Here also there are, but we don't see. Maybe it's inside. Look, this is the receptor. Okay, if there is no receptor, the cell doesn't understand anything. Like when I write here, let's say, do you understand anything? No, because like you don't have the receptor. It's kind of like you are not the target organ. Okay, so this is a message. It says, work hard, maybe work hard. But you don't have the receptor, so you don't understand. Like that, the hormone goes to stomach. Stomach is like you now. It goes to the kidneys. Kidneys understand, and then they do something. Okay. There are two types of hormones. Some of them are like peptides, like proteins or amino acids, let's say. Actually, most of them are like this. Most hormones, peptide hormones, and some hormones are steroid hormones. lipid. Okay, which ones? Let me tell you, like example, all sex hormones are here, like testosterone, our testosterone, or females, estrogen, progesterone. These are steroid hormones. Also, cortisol. Wait. Yeah. These are steroid hormones. Others are peptide hormones. Okay, so the made of material are different. Okay, and since these are lipids, and since the cell membrane is also made of lipid, they can pass through the membrane and then go inside. But these, they cannot pass the membrane, so their receptors have to be on the surface. Sometimes this detail is important. Like in this diagram, this is a peptide hormone, so its receptor is here on the surface. But the other one is steroid hormone, so it can just freely go inside and bind the receptor inside, and usually affects the nucleus. This is fight or flight case, right? In this case, the person chooses to fly, running away, not fighting. Here, what's happening? Hypothalamus activates sympathetic division, remember. One of the things about this here, adrenal medulla, one of the glands we are going to see, secretes these hormones. These hormones are called adrenaline hormones. Okay, adrenaline. When we have adrenaline, most likely we are scared or stressed or excited, and then our sympathetic system is working. So let's look at this hormone as an example. Okay, like I told you 4 things, right? This is the first one. Where does it come from? Adrenaline is produced by adrenal gland on top of kidneys. Second, here on top of kidneys. Second, what does it do? Okay, not this one. This is like when it is produced, when we have stress, fear. Okay, what does it do? It helps body prepare for action, right? Like sympathetic system working together. Higher blood sugar, higher heartbeat rate, faster breathing, and then blood is going to brain and muscles, because we don't need digestion, we don't need excretion during that time. We need our brain, we need our muscles. So the hormone directs blood to those organs, just like sympathetic. Okay, same. A problem, let's say, if a person doesn't have enough adrenaline, what happens? He needs to be excited. He doesn't become excited. Like maybe something cool, right? Everybody is stressed, breathing fast, hearts pounding. But then if you have a problem with adrenaline, you are cool. I haven't heard a disease like that. Okay, another example is like these 2 hormones, they work together, insulin and glucagon. Both of them together control blood glucose level, right? They are responsible for this, and they come from pancreas. Let's see it with the diagram. This is normal homeostasis. The normal blood glucose level is around 90 milligrams per 100 milliliters. This is normal. But if you eat something, let's say you eat something with sugar, then your blood sugar level increases. Now balance is broken. There is no more homeostasis. This is not a good thing. You should make it go down again. What happens? Pancreas understands this first. It has the receptors. And then it produces insulin. Okay, insulin goes to everywhere in the body. Target organ is liver. Main target organ is liver. Also some other cells, but the main one is liver. Also other cells, almost every cell in our body can understand insulin. What happens? They absorb glucose. Okay, liver cells and some other cells, they absorb glucose, and then our blood glucose level decreases to normal. Let's say you start fasting. Okay, you are not eating anything for many hours, then your blood sugar level will decrease slowly. Then again, your pancreas will understand that, will notice that. Then it will produce glucagon this time. If it is decreasing, glucagon. If it is increasing, insulin. Glucagon goes to liver only because liver has glycogen storage. Glucagon causes glycogen to become glucose and then to enter blood. So this way, your blood glucose level increases. Then you are again having normal blood sugar level. If these two work, okay, you need to know insulin reduces blood glucose level, glucagon increases blood glucose level. Both of them come from pancreas. Okay. When you know this, usually that's enough. Okay, I typed explanations here. Now, after this introduction, let's look at the hormones a little bit. These are our glands, endocrine glands, like the pituitary gland in the brain. Somewhere here we have thyroid gland, sorry. Pancreas. Pancreas is complicated. It's both endocrine and exocrine. It's also for digestive system, right? Producing enzymes. So it's like a really complicated gland. Then we have the adrenal glands. We have the reproductive glands. They are also producing hormones. Hypothalamus here is the boss. The boss for the hormonal system. Okay, it controls everything. Okay, if you remember the basic homeostatic activities like temperature, blood pressure, blood volume, these are controlled here. Also controls the endocrine system through pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is the manager. Or let's make it the manager, pituitary gland. So hypothalamus on top, pituitary gland under it. So when we zoom here, it's like this. This is the pituitary gland, so small. They say like P, just one P, or like the back of this pen, maybe, so small. So important. Okay, this is a little bit detailed. We don't need it now. Okay. Let's start with hypothalamus. Hypothalamus produces some hormones, but they are special hormones called neurohormones because they are coming from the nervous system. And they are also called releasing hormones. Look at the names. Growth hormone, releasing hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, releasing hormone. Thyroid, releasing hormone. Why like that? See? Okay, like this. Yeah. Let's look at growth. This is the first one. Say this is hypothalamus. This is pituitary gland. There is the connection. Hypothalamus secretes growth hormone releasing hormone. Okay, this hormone goes to pituitary gland, and pituitary gland releases growth hormone. Okay, it's like a message to produce growth hormone, or this one, message to produce this hormone, produce adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay, now pituitary gland does what? Pituitary gland secretes many hormones. How many? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9, maybe more. The pituitary gland secretes many hormones. Some of its hormones stimulate secretion of other hormones. Okay, like a hormone to produce another hormone. That is called tropic hormone. Okay, it's like you are writing a letter to your friend, and then you are saying, write a letter to another friend. Okay, your letter causes another letter, kind of. Okay, here, these three, let's look at them. Let's say thyroid stimulating hormone. This hormone goes to thyroxine, so goes to thyroid gland, and then thyroid gland produces thyroxine hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone goes to adrenal gland, and the gland produces cortisol hormone. Gonadotropic release hormones, FSH and LH. We are going, maybe you have seen in reproduction system, they go to ovaries, and ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone later. Okay, here. For this one, we can make a line here. Okay, and another one here. So there is classification here. Look, anterior means front, posterior means behind. Okay. Some hormones, actually most of them are from anterior pituitary gland. Two of them, ADH and oxytocin, they are from posterior pituitary gland. Sometimes this is asked, like in the exams, which of the following hormones is from posterior pituitary gland? So posterior, only two, ADH and oxytocin. There is the middle one, somewhere in between here. Middle, starting with M, melanocyte stimulating hormone. Causes secretion of more melanin, makes the skin darker. Okay, and all others are from anterior. What do we have here? Thyroid stimulating hormone goes to thyroid gland. ACTH goes to adrenal cortex. Growth hormone goes everywhere in the body. These two go to ovaries and testes. Prolactin goes to mammary glands, causes secretion of milk, production of milk. Oxytocin goes to uterus, and during birth causes muscles to contract, to push the baby out. Also causes milk release from mammary glands. Milk release, this is milk production. Different things. Okay, what else? Okay, I will share the summary table with you. Okay, then you can just check that. You can read these sections. Because, oh, okay, here, there is a hormone. Like, they are usually chemicals like this. These diseases, they are asked in the exams. Usually, like, for example, for the final exam, most likely you will get at least one question about the diseases. Move in, let's. So this is describing hormones one by one. There is the negative feedback mechanism. This is about like how does our body know how much hormone to produce? How does it know when to stop? Okay, for the control, we have negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback is, let's say this is the normal, let's say you are riding a motorcycle and then normal speed is, let's say, 30 kilometers per hour. Okay, you have to go at 30. And then you are speeding. And then you see you are going like 31, 32. What do? You are going away from the normal. You have to do something to come back. You brake, right? You brake. And then you are slowing down. It goes like 29, 28. What you have to do, you have to come back to normal. You have to accelerate a little bit. More gas, maybe. So this is negative feedback. There is a change from the normal. You do something to go back to normal. Most of our body works like that. Like heaters also work like that. ACs like that. Our body temperature regulation like that. Right? When our body temperature increases, we sweat, we lose heat, body temperature goes back to normal. But there is also positive feedback, not very common. Only 2 examples. One of them is blood clotting. Clotting starts with few platelets, and then they attract more, and then like that. It's kind of like this. Again, you are riding your motorcycle, and then your parents tell you to don't go faster than 30 kilometers per hour, right? And then you are on the motorcycle together with your friend. Your friend is at the back, okay? You are riding, you go faster, you make it like 31, 32, 35. Your friend gets excited, says, go faster, go faster. And then you are making it even faster, 40, 50. This is positive feedback. Your friend is giving you positive feedback. Not a very good thing in that case. So one example is blood clotting. Another example is birth. During birth, oxytocin causes contraction. Contraction causes more oxytocin. Stronger contraction, more oxytocin, goes like that until birth. When the baby is out, everything stops. Okay, 2 examples. Okay, these are good diagrams to show some hormone mechanisms. These are hormonal problems. Okay, these are a little bit complicated. I collected them from other books and then made a summary. I'll just show you I'll just send you the summary. Okay, I'm just checking if there is anything else. This is extra. Farmers use hormones to get more milk from cows, to make chicken grow faster. Hormones are used. Even in for plants, you are going to see next year, plant hormones are used by farmers to get like bigger fruits, fruits without seeds, better looking fruits, like that. Messi, what is Messi doing here? They say Messi got hormone treatment when he was a teenager. He was not growing well. He got something like extra growth hormone. Not that simple, complicated. Something like a hormone which helps him to grow stronger. Okay, there are questions here. I hope it's enough. Okay, do you have the slide?
Can you send it to us? We don't have the slide.
Okay, let me send this one and the summary table, then you can share with your friends.
Okay.
If you need help, again, okay. I decided I started doing this today. I started maybe late. I'm recording my classes with 11A. if you want, I can share them with you so you can watch them. Maybe that can also be like extra lesson. Okay, so, but I just started today. Okay, closing it now. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.